Welcome, IT changemakers, to the DEX Show with Tim Flower and Tom McGraw. Let's get into it.
Hello, changemakers, and happy Earth Day, everybody. Yes, I think it's the first time in the DEX Show's quite long history that we've managed to release a thematically appropriate episode on a special occasion and absolutely nail it. But absolutely nail it, we have. It is, of course, Earth Day. And yes, as you might predict, we are talking green IT and sustainable technological use, but we're doing it in a different way because we're joined by two very, very special guests today. And they are Raphael Anthamatten and Nina Zellweger. And they are both Nexthink colleagues here. Raf, as we know him, is IT director, and Nina is the head of corporate social responsibility. And we're going to be hearing about how Nexthink uses its own sustainable DEX technology to actually improve sustainability of the organization. So amazing theme, really, really looking forward to it. And let's welcome our guest. Raf, first of all, great to see you. First time on the show. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tom. Very good. Thanks for having me on the show today. I am Raphael Anthamatten, the IT director at Nexthink, calling from our Lausanne office in Switzerland. My role involves driving technological innovation and overseeing the global strategy of our IT department. I am passionate about leveraging technology to improve the digital workplace and right now committed to integrating sustainable practices into our daily operations. I look forward to sharing insights today on how we are improving our sustainability practices here at Nexthink with you guys.
Thanks, Raf. That's great. That's great. And Nina, it was your idea. You came to us with this brilliant suggestion for a show. So welcome to you too. Please introduce yourself to the audience also.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tom. I'm really excited to be here as well on the DEX show. On my side, like you mentioned on your intro, I'm in charge and leading our corporate social responsibility initiative within our company. And I'm also based in Lausanne, Switzerland, so next to Raphael as well. And I joined Nexthink 5 years ago to really launch a program that would be linked to the environment, such as measuring our carbon footprint, implementing initiatives to reduce our emissions, but also social initiative to really make sure that we foster a culture where community engagement is really part of who we are at Nexthink.
Splendid. And we're going to get into sustainability, but obviously Nexthink is the digital employee experience company, and people will be relieved to hear, no doubt, that as Nexthinkers, we do enjoy a fantastic digital employee experience every day of the week, of course. Raf, always wanted to ask you, now we've got you on the show, there's no avoiding it, no escaping it, sir. To what extent does IT at Nexthink, in the way you plan it and manage it, do you seek to reflect those core principles around DEX? And to what extent do you use and even maybe sometimes test Nexthink solutions and innovations?
Yes, sure. So I am deeply committed to ensuring that our IT operations not only reflect, but also actively embody the core principles of DEX. In our day-to-day operations, we leverage, of course, Nexthink analytics and automation capabilities to continuously monitor and optimize the digital environment. This allows us to proactively address potential issues before they even raise and impact productivity. Moreover, we are not just simple users of the Nexthink solution. We are actively contributing to the product evolution. How? By sharing early feedbacks with the product engineers, with our engineers as well. We are also doing some advanced testing. We are also customer zero, known as is at Nexthink, which means that we are the first one to get the first release. And then we get a chance to test the new solutions and module. And also sometimes we can even being lucky enough to influence the product development roadmap. So before I get too much enthusiastic about technology, I just want to reflect on this one and just mention that our commitment to DEX is not just about technology, it's about people. And today, this is part of our North Stars and can be summarized like this. make every interaction with IT positive. And what do I mean by IT? It's not only IT systems, it's everything. IT systems, IT devices, IT processes, and of course, IT people. So of course, the goal is to use this people-first approach, because I strongly believe that this people-first approach is the essence of Desk. And today it is at the heart of everything we do at Nexthink.
Fabulous, Raf. And now let's get into the green theme, today's green theme for Earth Day, right? Interested though, first of all, leading up to it, how did your career path lead you to this role where you look over our CSR here, and how did Nexthink's green IT journey begin?
So actually, I have a background in hospitality and management. So you may wonder, what am I doing here? But I had work opportunities in the past to work abroad, and I think it really allowed me to see different faces of our world, and also helped me realize what privilege means. And I think that's where it really triggered a career change. So a door opened at Nexthink, and today guiding projects that can really contribute positively to our people and our environment is a role that is really fulfilling me. And regarding your second question about how green IT started at Nexthink, so I remember that we initiated the discussion around this topic maybe 3 years ago approximately. But like many things, I think you cannot really improve what you don't measure. So we did our first carbon footprint analysis in 2022 to measure our Nexthink greenhouse gas emission. And with the nature of our business, obviously, our main sources of greenhouse gas emission were linked to our digital operations. So there was no doubt that one of the major action item that we had to start tackling was linked to green IT. And that's when we decided to launch a green IT strategy.
Fantastic. And Raf, how was that project or proposal received from an IT perspective? You can be honest, by the way. And has it been yeah, good. I know. Don't tell us it was just I'm sure it was well. I'm sure it was. And has it been a challenge to add it to your operations, or just a great opportunity to try something new within the team?
Yeah, I'm tempted to say that, every project or every change is coming with both challenges and opportunities. So, of course, green IT or sustainability is a topic for IT that has been there for years. I mean, it's been 10 years at least that we are speaking about green IT. The main focus was clearly on the cost, because obviously that was something that has to do with all the data centers first. Servers, SAN, and of course, when the vendors were selling green IT, we were translating that into, we are simply going to save cost because we have to pay for energy. Now it has changed. And I must say that from an IT perspective, the project was met with a lot of enthusiasm, as it presented an opportunity to integrate sustainable practices, which we never did before, into our operations. What is the challenge is simply integrating SBTi standards and then implementing those require a very deep review of our operations in order to identify. Also, the challenge is, of course, to measure, and then we have to implement more sustainable practices. But, without data, that's something that is impossible to achieve. And then, of course, that's a topic for IT, because we are always seen as a backend function, but this project also enhance team collaboration, because that is not a project or initiative you can do by yourself. This is not an IT initiative. This is not an HR or people and talent initiative only. This is a global initiative. So this communication needs to happen. And of course, we are really happy that we didn't have to initiate those. Thanks to Nina, who organized a lot of stuff to facilitate that. But right now that we are in the process of implementing the mitigations, I must say that, in conclusion, this project exemplifies simply how IT can drive positive environmental change. And this is possible. Of course, I must say that it has to do with some generational difference. I'm obviously an old guy, so I'm a Gen X guy. And of course, I have maybe, for me, I knew from the start that the planet that I was going to pass to my kids were going to be maybe in a less beautiful state. But of course, I didn't expect to be that bad. And of course, I'm really happy to see that people that are coming in, that are younger people, Gen Z and so on, they're already educated. So we don't need to educate them. They already have this in mind. And for us, that is also an opportunity, to show our people that we can really work on some tasks that really have an impact, not only on their work, but mostly on their day-to-day life. So very excited, to be honest. I was a little bit surprised, I must confess, but really, that was really a good project.
That's cool. That's cool. And Nina, Nexthink is a net zero committed company. What's your understanding generally of how big a role IT plays in carbon emissions in general as it pertains to a business?
So I have read an interesting article about digital transformation from the Economic Forum. And, despite many efforts in the corporate world, there are current policies that companies are implementing or pledging for. But we are not on the right path to meet the current goals of the Paris Agreement to reach net zero. But what was interesting in this article is that the digital can help. And I totally agree with that, because what's interesting to see here is that the complexity is that technology really helps business growth in so many ways. And of course, don't get me wrong, we know that we need some technologies to perform our jobs, and that's super crucial. But besides this, there is also a reality that emission linked to the digital sector will continue growing drastically. So we really must address the challenge of IT by adopting sustainable IT practices that will really help us to reach our climate ambitions without impacting companies' efficiency, and really start using technology in a smart way and with the right tools.
And what about our own climate objectives? What are our ambitions here?
So at Nexthink, we have like 50% of our CO2 emission that come from our digital operation, which is not really surprising because we are a software company. So that was logical number that we were expecting. So to reach our net zero objectives, we have first implementing short-term targets to reach by 2030. So in terms of IT action item, we really want to reduce 30% of our IT assets. We want to make sure that 30% of our IT assets is lasting 2 more years by refurbishing some of our machines, for example, or also raising internal awareness on how everyone can help to take care of the equipment to make it last longer. Another example is that is linked to procurement. So we really want to partner with suppliers that have the same engagement that we have regarding net zero targets. So that's going to be a very important piece of our strategy. And in terms of servers, the last example that I can share here. So in terms of servers that we are using for our IT operation, we really want to divide by 4 the number of physical servers that we currently have by 2030. So a lot is cooking for Raphael's team, but of course we will continue working together on those objectives.
Fantastic. And Raphael, what are the initiatives or processes that have already been implemented in this journey that's being described?
Yep. So, when it comes to implement a new standard, there is no secret. We barely all follow the same methodology or process. The first thing to do is, step 1 is understand the standard and its objectives. Generally, step 2 is to get the data, because, it's impossible to improve something that you cannot even measure. Then the third part is where you compare the data with the objectives. So this is known more or less as a gap assessment. And the step number 4, you need to remediate to meet the objectives. So The first step we have taken, as I said before, since we didn't have data, was to gather those data. So the first step we have taken is to leverage Nexthink Sustainable Solutions Pack to get the data and valuable insights to optimize our IT footprint. What we noticed, like Nina mentioned before, the majority of our gas emissions is coming from our end devices. So of course, so there is no secret that we focused on end user devices. So one of the first key initiatives that we've implemented is the refresh of our laptop policy. What we have done is we have simply extended the laptop life cycle to 4 years instead of 3, and are in the course of exploring device as a service option for 2025. By doing so, we are not only optimizing our resources, but we are also significantly reducing our environmental footprint. Finally, we have published a new green IT policies that reinforce our dedication to minimizing our carbon footprint. At the end, if I have to resume what we have done, is basically we have adopted energy efficient practices on products, ensuring that sustainability considerations are fully part of our decision-making process, like cost, availability, quality of service are. We have simply added sustainability as another factor for to make better decisions.
Amazing. And let's imagine you're talking to a peer, similar situation. Their colleagues have come to them with this completely unwelcome, crazy scheme, like you went for. I'm just kidding, you know. And you had to give them advice as to how to ensure success going forward. What would that advice be?
The more I think about it, I think I can share 3 advice with those people. The first one is, as I said before, do not do that alone. Do not do it as an IT initiative, because that is probably going to be the best recipe for disaster. So the first thing you need to do is to align with the core business strategy. Basically, you need to ensure that your SBTi objectives are in sync with your company's core mission, values, and culture. Because if that's not the case, you will have an hard time. And again, without any management support, it's going to be very hard to make sure that your employees are really engaged. The second thing is, as I said, in 2024, we all speak about AI, but again, AI is data. So without data, you've got nothing. So then you need, and again, today in today's world, everything is data-driven decision. So basically, you need to get proper data in order to make proper decision. In our case, we are simply utilizing Nexthink Sustainable Solution Pack because it does provide the insight that we need in order to do that. Then the third advice I will share is to keep an eye on the employee engagement. And why? Because you will see that employees at all levels play a crucial role in your sustainability efforts. As I said, this is not something that should be led by IT. This is a company's process. So you need to educate them about the new policies, like the laptop, to come up with some green IT policies, to send them awareness campaigns so that they are aware. You simply need to guide them in order to make better decisions, and also that will also ensure that people are better adhering to your new proposals of policies. To do so, we are simply utilizing Nexthink Engage because this is built for that, and this is a great way to raise awareness and ensure employees actually engage. And then, of course, the result is we expect them to make really better decisions, and then not only looking at their own comfort, but also looking at how they are currently impacting the planet by maybe requesting another laptop, by maybe, or we have also some use case where people love to use shadow IT. And then we tend to always look at it from a security point of view. But that's not all. Think about it, because again, we have people that are using systems, and those systems are consuming energy. So again, so it's all about all those decisions. And then, there is not, and then we strongly believe that by letting people know, by giving them this advantage of knowing what they are doing will help them making better environmental friendly decisions.
Fantastic. Question for you both. Penultimate question, but it's one for each of you. Nina, starting with yourself. In addition to these organizational processes, what can Nexthink employees do to take part in the transition and to support our collective sustainability efforts?
Yeah, so I think Raphael mentioned something very interesting just before, but it's right. I mean, such a transition won't be accomplished unless we have a committed and trained team on this topic. So we often hear that people are reluctant to changes, but I strongly believe that in the power of awareness and education. So we work with smart people around us. So if you explain why those changes must happen, you will most likely convince your audience that's the right thing to do, right? And people won't see that as a constraint. So that's the perfect example of one of my role here at Nexthink is really to drive this change through awareness. And luckily, I'm not alone because 3 years ago we have created an affinity group called Green Thinkers. And this team is really encouraging a culture where environmental aspects are a priority in business decision in order to reduce our carbon footprint. And we also drive positive changes through awareness and initiatives. So I think, Raphael, you were quite happy that in a few months back, I believe, we have organized a digital fresque with your team. So basically, it was a collaborative activity to really understand the environmental consequences of all the digital technologies. So, yeah,
Cool.
That was great.
Nice. Anything Nina's forgotten, Ralph? Sounds like she took one of yours, to be honest.
No, that's I tend to agree with what Nina said. And as I said before, Nexthink employees today, they simply play a crucial role in supporting our sustainability efforts because, as we mentioned, 50% of all total emissions are coming from end user devices on who is using those devices or users. So what do we do? Basically, 3 steps. The first one is our employees are simply encouraged to adopt green IT habits in their daily work, which includes responsible use of resources. How do we do that? As I said before, by setting them awareness campaigns, by letting them know about why we do this change, because as Nina said, those are smart people. So once they understand why we are reluctant in simply replacing their laptops, or why we are reluctant to let them keep their laptops at home at some point is really important. Secondly, as I mentioned, we have a laptop policy in place that extends the life cycle of devices, and this promotes sustainability. And I can tell you that employees are integral to this policy's success simply by adhering to the guidelines and participating in recycling or refurbishing programs. Lastly, our green IT policy guides employees in making environmental friendly decisions when it comes to IT equipment and services. And this is how we make things happen at Nexthink.
Love it. Nina, you brought us the topic today. Been a great conversation. So you get the last question, okay? And that is, what are the next big milestones or innovations that really excite you in your role and as a Nexthinker in this journey we've been describing here?
So yeah, there are so many things that I'm excited about. And Raphael, this is very sincere, but I'm really excited to know that we are going to continue working together and with your team to really find the best action to implement internally to really reach our ambitious targets. We mentioned it during the discussion today, but it's only through collaboration and breaking silos that we will be able to accomplish great things. It's no longer a one department objective. We are one team in this. We have a common objective, and we need to count on each other's skills and expertise to continue innovating into our processes. And on behalf of Nexthink, I have recently joined a Green IT club to help us build best practices and share our knowledge with actors from different industries. And I think that's really precious because we all have similar challenges to overcome. But growing a network of Green IT players can I think can really lead to a snowball effect, if you see what I mean, and with the aim to really reduce our digital impact. And last but not least, I'm really excited about the upcoming innovation of our product solution team that are really working to ensure that we are offering the right tool that will help our customer to reach their own climate ambitions as well, and creating a product which is aligned with reporting regulation that are also entering into force today. So at the end, building a sustainable digital workplace is possible, and I believe it can start today.
Fantastic final words, Nina, and a lot of innovation and inspiration in that conversation. Both of you, thank you so much for that. If you're listening and you're a Nexthinker, hopefully you've got some ideas. If you didn't already know where you can get involved in helping this organization become more sustainable and helping the world become more sustainable in general. Perhaps you're listening, you're an IT professional, and you're interested in some of the solutions that we've teased here. Well, we will include links in the show notes so you can go and find out more and maybe hopefully implement them yourselves at your own organizations or encourage colleagues to do so. Just remains for me to say thank you so much, Nina, for bringing this topic. Thank you for your thoughts today. Raph, great to have you on the show for the first time. It's been wonderful to speak to you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much.
To make sure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast player. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a rating of the show. Just tap the number of stars you think the podcast deserves. If you'd like to learn more about how Nexthink can help you improve your digital employee experience, head over to nexthink.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.